As the great independent director Mr. Werner Herzog once said, I despise formal restaurants. I find all of that formality to be very base and vile. I would much rather eat potato chips on the sidewalk.
Hello and welcome to Potato Chips on the Sidewalk. I'm Barbecue Benjamin. Joining me today is...
This is, it wasn't a dream, it was really a time jump, Jacob.
Yes, as I correctly assumed.
Yes, I just wanted to get that out of the way. I thought I was kind of out clever the show, but no, that's not a thing.
I think you can say after these two episodes that it wouldn't have made any sense any other way.
So, yeah, Barry did a big time jump.
Yeah, just before we get into the particulars of episode 5, Tricky Legacies, what did you think? Did you like it? Do you like where this season is going?
I'm a fan. I feel like the episode 5 gave a lot of ammunition to the whole people being like, is this just Bill Hader trying to do a directing CV? I can understand that, but I still think it was a very good unsettling episode, and for such a storytelling change, I feel like you kind of need to shake things up stylistically as well.
Yeah. I am loving this season. I think
this might be the most Ben Core thing I've ever watched.
It's some amazing shit to me, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I talked a lot about for season 3 how the beach scenes were him being so terrified, well, him as in Barry, or Clark as he now is. He's so racked with guilt that he's just so, like, he saw all these people that he's killed on this beach, and he's just so scared of damnation. And for 8 years to have passed where he's become this evangelical, like, he's found, like, the whole thing where, you ask Jesus to forgive you and he will, and he's just deluded himself into thinking that he's saved himself from the damnation that he was so terrified of. And he's raising this son with a hostage Sally. Like, it's... I think it's genius, honestly.
Yeah, look, Barry has always been a show, as underlined by these 2 episodes, a show about people who, in one way or the other, escape the reality of what they've done or what their situation is.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're completely right about Barry. Obviously, the last episode before episode 5, was Sally telling Barry to, hey, let's do this, let's just run away. And they certainly have, but it's weird because what's the show Sally made in season 3? What was it called again? It was
it was the name of a town.
Yeah, but like that was
Joplin.
Yeah, Joplin. It was like,
yeah,
that was an almost alternate reality of her life when it happened. Like, and the fact that now she's actually a mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a very interesting mirror there, but like, yeah, it's so well done. And then obviously Gene Cousineau having escaped after shooting his son thinking he was Barry.
And he went on like a spiritual journey to Israel.
And yeah, I won't jump ahead too far into the next episode, but no, Hank also, you see he's also sort of wanting to escape his reality.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a show about where all the main characters, in some way or the other, are or have tried to escape their reality, and now this is the consequence of that.
Yeah. And I think we should get into like the
meat,
like the events of the episode. So the status quo change. It's 8 years in the future. Barry is now Clark. Sally's now Emily. They have a son together named John, who seems a little bit older than 8.
I was gonna say that's an old ass 8-year-old.
Yeah. I guess like it is what it is. For all I know, the actor might be 8.
Well, look to
I
me,
don't know how old kids are.
To me, it's like, yeah. One of my things is like, perhaps if I'm a parent, I might look at this differently. But like, to me, like everything between the age of like 4, maybe an age between 5 and 12,
The same age.
they're like the same age in my eyes. Like, you know what I mean?
It's just what an 8-year-old looks like. I just have no idea.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Yeah, because that's the thing. I'm like, that's an old ass 8-year-old, but I'm like, also, is it? Like, I don't. Again, it'll just like, I have like a little cousin, and like I remember when like I think she was like turned 12. I was like, oh, how old are you? 7? And she was like, no. I was like, oh. So like.
That's yeah, it is what it is. I think we should just stop talking about children because we're obviously like not the right people to talk about it. Yeah. So Barry and Sally, like Barry's like staying home to like homeschool and like coddle their son. Because, obviously he's like a very wanted man and he can't go out in public, so he doesn't have a job. And he's conditioning this kid to become an evangelical, like he and Sally have seemingly become. I don't think Sally has bought into it. She's just doing it to,
survive. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think Barry's fully bought into it, and he's homeschooling this kid in the weirdest way, where he's like obsessed with Abraham Lincoln, and he's just like, oh, like who's like an inspiring figure, like who's like the American Jesus figure that he can, like have his son aspire to be like, and obviously, the title of the episode ties into that later on, and Sally has become like this alcoholic, just depressed, like alcohol. Just alcoholic already, well, she is doubly alcoholic, but
Yeah,
like
she's a double
like
alcoholic at this point.
Yeah, she's struggling to get by. She's watching these like streaming shows where her the old classmate in Kusano's class, the one that she yells entitled cunt at in the elevator, has become like very successful in the streaming space where Sally wanted to be, and seeming like she was going to get there before her show got cancelled. So she's like, drinking herself to death because of like she's seeing someone who she views as lesser than her live the life that she thinks that she deserves to. And it's just
It's very sad.
it's a terrible fate for Sally, because like everyone around her, like her parents, like the again, no disrespect to Sean Heder, but Sean Heder was just like, yeah, look, you're really good, but you just don't have the look that's going to make you successful. And she's just, yeah, like
Yeah,
on the way to killing herself.
she's had a rough
Yeah.
for someone who's
Yeah.
obviously the fact that she finds out her boyfriend is a serial killer and was like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of fucked up and this is kind of fucked up, but at least he's the only person I can trust. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's cooked.
Yes. And so Barry's like cuddling this kid, and the kid's like not allowed to do anything. Like, he's not allowed to play video games. He's not even allowed to play baseball. And for every bad thing, well, not bad thing, but like horrifying thing that this show does, like, and it has been doing recently, it still finds room for comedy, because the sequence where Barry finds the baseball mitt that this other kid has given John, their son, and he's like cuddling him so hard that he won't even let him play like baseball with other kids, and he starts showing him like kids dying in little league baseball games. It's like it's funny as like hell, like, because it's just like he's trying to like show his son why like he's not allowed to do it, but he's just like terrifying him that like at any moment a baseball could just hit this kid in the head and kill him.
Yeah.
It's showing how like infantile and just like, I don't want to say like brain dead, but like
Pretty much brain dead.
Yeah, like he's just like, Barry's just like the most like socially inept person in the world.
Yeah, he's also manipulative. Also, can I just add one last little thing that I haven't seen anyone else mention it? There's a great recurring image of when the kids asleep of Barry and Sally on their own laptops in separate couches. So those are that's really well done, but I haven't seen this mentioned yet. Did you notice their laptops?
Oh, like she's got a MacBook and he's got like a Windows.
He's got a Windows Surface. It's just such a nice little like, this is how like these people who were supposed to they probably came into this thinking they were like forbidden star-crossed lovers, but now they're just kind of miserable,
complete opposite people.
Miserable shit circumstance.
And Sally at her job is just she's having a terrible time. She's like trying to get caught. Like, I can't remember the name of the character, but there's like a co-worker who's like is he a co-worker? Like, but he's just like sexually harassing her. She kind of gets like a thrill out of it, and she like starts choking him in the bathroom, and he like pulls her wig off, so like seemingly compromising them. If like anyone would recognize her with her blonde hair, and it's she just doesn't seem to care that much.
Well, she's already like, what else does she have to?
Yeah,
she doesn't.
She's got her son.
She doesn't love her son though. Or
no,
like, she obviously is just like,
So and then Kusino shows up after 8 years in hiding, and he goes to Warner Brothers, which he hears that are making a movie about Barry, and the news comes up on Sally's MacBook, and she shows Barry that he's going to be consulting on this film, and Barry declares that he has to kill Kusuno. Which, is pretty much the exact same ending as episode 2, where Hank says, I have to kill Barry. So I wonder if there's going to be a parallel between that, where Barry saying that he has to kill Kusuno is going to result in Sally's death. The same way that Hank saying that he has to kill Barry results in Christobal's death. That's what I thought at the time, but I don't know how that's going to go moving forward. Do you want to move on to episode 6, The Wizard?
Yes, I do. So pretty much, I think there's a nice little segue with that. What about Gene Cousineau is you kind of realize him and Barry don't want the film to happen for technically the same actual reason.
Yeah.
They, Barry to an extent, he's saying it's to save his family, but there's this whole insistence, and we see that from listening to the sort of evangelical right-wing podcast he's listening to as information bias, which is like a great running bit in the episode.
Yeah. And I love the Bill Burr cameo.
Yeah,
in that. Basically doing his Monday morning podcast stick.
It's great. And he's... So Barry can, at the end of the day, he wants to believe he's a good person. That's all he wants to believe. And he isn't a good person, obviously. And it's kind of... How do I say this? It's like... And that's the same way Cousineau feels like. He can say, I don't want my... He can say, I've been a changed person and, I don't want my wife's lover's memory to be exploited. But at the same time, she also kind of has his own reputation to protect, because if they are to be truthful to Gene Cousineau, he is a very opportunistic piece of shit, and while he claims, and maybe might be that person now, he doesn't want to be seen that way.
Yeah. So, beginning of the episode 5, The Wizard, Sally doesn't want Barry to go kill Gene. And what's his fucking name? Barry. Insists that he... I can't believe I did that. Barry tries to, he shows Sally how to, you're trying to get her to put together a gun, so she's protected while he's away. And he leaves and goes to LA while listening to these evangelical podcasts that are, is killing a sin, and it progressively goes from, of course it's a sin, it's the worst thing you can do, to Bill Burr saying, here's why it's not a sin. And he's like, bingo, this is exactly what I wanted. He's the confirmation bias of, him finding a perspective that he wanted to hear, and not really caring about the actual meaning behind it.
Which says a lot about, religion's role in America specifically.
Yeah.
And around the world.
Yeah. And then we have a very funny sequence where Fuchs has finished his prison sentence and has an army of people following him as the Raven. He's now tatted up. He's found a wife who works as a barista.
Well, he literally finds her the day he gets out. And I gotta say, the reveal of Fuchs is so fucking hilarious.
Yeah. He's become this hilarious like caricature of you know
Hard
I
guy.
don't yeah the gangster guy with the tattoos, and he's wearing his singlet, and he's trying to look hard, and he's got his army of thugs, and he's made a deal with Hank, who is now like the leader of like a sand tech startup called NoHo Ball.
Yeah, which look, as I was saying before, this was, you know, the show being about people trying to escape their realities. Obviously, in this episode, we find out that Hank named his company after him and Cristobal, and then
Cristobal.
later
Yeah.
when Fugue says that he killed no Hank killed Cristobal, Hank completely fucking breaks down and is in denial, and
Yeah.
so that's his reality he's running away from.
Yeah.
The fact that he killed
And
the thing he actually loves.
yeah, like he's made a deal with Hank to like protect, like have his gang like serve as like, like a security force for Hank's business, in return of like, housing them and giving them resources to like find and like hunt down Barry.
Yeah.
And then like there's like a dinner, as you were saying, that like um I'm sorry, I won't call him Fuse, I'll call him the Raven.
The
He's
Raven.
like yeah, he like he's like drunk, and he's like, talking to Hank as if Hank is completely fine what happened with what happened with Cristobal. Like he's like, oh yeah, you're like you're hard, like you don't care that like the love of your life was killed because you were like selfish and trying to like expand this business, and you, as you said, like escaping the reality, and you built this business around his like memory, but like at the end of the day, like your actions of what ended up getting him killed. And Hank just has like a meltdown and just can't accept his own like actions led to all that. And it's, again, like I think just some genius stuff. Is there anything more you wanted to say about that before I cut you off? Sorry.
No, just yeah, I just like that through line of all these characters besides the Raven, wanting to escape their own reality, really.
Yeah, well, Fuchs is the only one who really like. I mean, like, I would say like who has accepted who he is, but he's also
Changed to
created
his,
this persona.
he's changed to
like that.
his.
Like it's not real. It's not really the correct, true representation of who he actually is.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So, I think like next is like Barry like arrives at Kusuno's son's house and like waits for Kusuno to arrive, and is going to go in to kill Kusuno, but sees his grandson arrive home, and decides that he can't do it, while presumably thinking of his own son can't, go through with the killing him right then and there. Like it's just Barry's still conflicted, but he's just so delusional at the same time that like he thinks it's going to make a difference at all. And yeah, like do you think that Barry was looking for a reason not to? Like, he kept saying like he's looking for a sign to do it.
Yeah.
Do you think that was also him like looking for a sign to not do it?
Well, obviously there's the internal clash between him wanting to be a good person, but also he is a killer. He doesn't want to be a killer, but he is a killer. But he also wants to be a good person, and he wants to have both. But Yeah. He was obviously, I'd say he was looking for an excuse.
Yeah. And then I want to talk about my favorite sequence of this episode,
Yeah.
uh, with Sally and John, uh, at home without Barry being there. So John's seemingly like very upset that Barry's not around, like he doesn't get along with his mum as much as he gets along with his dad. And Sally spikes his juice in an attempt to get him to like,
Shut up.
like calm down a bit. And he's like, like he's out cold on the couch. So Sally goes and like has a nap, and then she like wakes up because she hears like voices outside the house. And the entire time I was just like, my heart was like pounding out of my chest. And she goes around, she locks the door, she like closes the windows, and then this guy in this black morph suit is just behind her silently. She just doesn't notice him. And I was freaking out. I was loving every second of this. I was like, yeah, I was like, but I still don't know what was like happening in that scene. And I think we might not even find out what was happening by the
I
end of
hope
the
we don't.
series.
I hope we don't.
Yeah. Because it was just like, it was like terrifying, and he like follows her back to her bedroom. He shuts the door on her and locks her inside, and then like him and another man like are shouting at each other, like I think like trying to kidnap the son, and so like he's not breathing and they can't like wake him up, and then a car like rams the house, and like it looked like forklift like spikes go through Sally's room, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? And she's like, she freaks out. Like John sleeps through it because he's like, wasted because he had like vodka when he was 8 years old, or 7.5 or whatever he is.
Yeah.
And like he wakes up and hears like Sally like just completely hysterical trying to get in contact with Barry to like, say like, where the fuck are you? Everything just went horribly wrong without you. And do you have any like inkling of what could have been happening here?
I don't know, but I've been trying to not make this comparison for a while, but Sally's scenes in these past two episodes remind me a lot of how Audrey Horne in Twin Peaks: The Return.
Yes, actually, yeah.
Like that sort of like, obviously she's more connected to the A story than like
Audrey was
in The Return, but
yeah.
there is that whole thing of there's this sense that she's in a genuine sense, like sort of like purgatory. It's like isolated and it's so disconnected from everything else, and that and the fact that it's like you don't know what's going on, it's so fucking weird and creepy, and it actually does. I'd hesitate to call it Lynchian because I really think that's misused.
You can't say the word Lynchian ever without somebody jumping down your throat for it.
Yeah, pretty much. But I would say this is the rare time I was genuinely thinking this like evoked some of that similar sort of terror as how Audrey was handled in the Return.
Well, I think it's also it's a lot akin to when they're in the restaurant or they're in the diner in The Return and the gunfire goes off, and Bobby walks outside, and like the woman is like screaming in the car like that, like her son like threw up all like the gum and Bosia, and like like it's that kind of sequence. Like I think you like like it's drawing the parallels between that I think there's probably a little bit of an inspiration going on there.
There's definitely inspiration, and I would
Yeah.
personally say it does a good job at evoking it while
Yeah.
being its own thing.
Yes, 100%. And to cap off the episode, Barry follows Kusuno home to his own home, and just as he's about to go inside to kill Kusuno, he's abducted and wakes up in Jim Moss's psychological torture garage.
Yep, and that's a great cliffhanger.
Yes. Do you think we're going to see what this interrogation method Jim Moss has? Because if it's a half an hour episode of him doing it to Barry, I would love that.
Right. Everyone's kind of been like, when is the spiritual successor of Ronnie Lilly going to come? And if it's ever going to be any time, it's probably the next episode.
Yes. I can't imagine Bill Hader didn't want to cap off the season with some sort of like insane action episode.
Yeah, well, obviously, like season 3 had the amazing highway chase. So
yeah, like I definitely think Bill Hader's interested in directing action in that way. So I'm confident we're going to get something.
Regardless, yeah, it's not. We're going to see, even if we don't see what happens, we're going to see the outcome of it. So
yeah. Can I end this episode with a little prediction of a little throwaway, like maybe cameo I predict might happen before the season's out?
Go ahead, you go ahead.
I think that if we see who Warner Brothers wants to cast as Barry in the movie, is going to be John Mulaney.
Yeah, I can see that. I reckon.
I don't know. I just get that feeling like he's like I think
that work.
He's put Fred Armisen in. You know, like I feel like he's got like a little space for John Mulaney to turn up and have the internet cry that John Mulaney's a terrible person apparently now. I need to defend John Mulaney when I can because of our intro. Did you watch the special?
Pardon? Oh, no, I haven't yet. I need to.
Oh, what?
Well,
it's really good.
Because I haven't renewed. Well, I don't have Netflix currently, so.
Okay.
What? Well, once I get back onto it.
Anyway, welcome to Potato Chips on the Sidewalk. Today we're going to be talking about John Mulaney, Baby J. It's really good.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Okay. No worries. So, do you have any predictions about where it's going to go by the end?
I think it can only end with Barry dying.
But how?
I don't know how.
Do you think it's just going to show him in hell? That would be funny as.
That'd be pretty funny. Well, look, yeah, the obviously everything's going to clash. Maybe Sally ends up in purgatory.
If she isn't already.
Well, that's the thing. I think that she already is. Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah. It's a really, really good show.
Yeah, it was kind of we've been really treated HBO not to give the network studio too much credit, but it's kind of it's nice for them to give us like this many great episodes between this and Succession on the same day.
But it's going to end in 2 weeks and we're going to be sad about it.
Well, again, I'm kind of looking forward to the end of TV for Jacob. I said goodbye to the MCU with Guardians 3. I'm ready to say goodbye to TV.
I'm actually got a little bit of a question.
You go ahead.
Yeah. Do you watch Barry or Succession first?
I watch Succession then Barry. What about you?
Succession then Barry. I do Barry then Succession.
I feel like that would probably work more.
Yeah. Because everybody talks about how, everybody watches it both on the same day. But,
which
yeah.
airs first?
I actually don't know.
Okay.
Is there a way to find it out in Australia?
I'm not sure. Oh well. I presume it would be
Wait. Barry air time. 10 p.m.
10 p.m. So it would be Succession first, right?
Succession should be 9, I guess, then.
Yeah, probably. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's 9. So, yeah, it's Succession, then Barry on the schedule. Okay. Well, I've been doing it opposite then. All right. No worries. Sweet. I'm glad I found that out. Anyway, thanks for listening to our midnight rants. It just hit midnight
It
here
legit
in
did.
Perth, Western Australia. I think I need to go to bed.
So do I. I am so fucking tired. I just got back from a Q&A.
All right.
All right.
Thank you for listening. I think our brains just shut off the moment we saw the time.
Yes. Simon Baker was an interesting Q&A person.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Did you ask him a question?
Nah, I didn't. Everyone was asking stupid questions.
Yeah, people don't ask good questions at Q&A.
No, they really don't. They are. They're just like, kind of like, I like that I'm still recording.
I am as well.